Welcome back to Designsmith. Today I'm going to show you how to create this poster using various tools in Adobe Illustrator. Before we get started, please consider subscribing to support the channel. Alright, so I can't actually read any of the small text down here. I just see the buckle up and the Santa Monica logo right here. So we're just going to focus on the artwork area here. We're going to use the Pathfinder, the pen tool, the blend tool, and a clipping mask. Alright, so before I do any work here, I'm going to select our artwork, bring it down to 30% opacity, and then I'm going to go up here to Object, Lock, and Lock Selection. Alright, next I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to grab my ellipse tool by hitting L on my keyboard. And I'm just going to draw like a circle right here. And we're just going to kind of align it right up here to this area. It might help you to swap your fill and your stroke temporarily so that you can line it up as close as possible. Sometimes it might help to turn off your smart guides so it doesn't automatically snap to anything. So we just kind of do something right here. It's not entirely important that we get this exactly correct. I'm just trying to show you how to use these tools. Alrighty, now that we've got that first one down, I'm going to hold down Option or Alt on my keyboard and just click and drag. And that will create another instance of that circle there. I'm just going to stretch this right over here. It doesn't matter that we're going below the shape because I'll show you what we're going to do in just a minute. And then again, Option or Alt and click and drag. And we'll just kind of reshape this to this area right here. There we go, and there's our circles. So now I'm going to select all three of these, hit Shift and X on my keyboard to swap the fill and the stroke, and now I'm going to go to my Pathfinder and click on Unite. So that will take all three of those circles and unite them together as one shape. Now I'm going to select our one shape, hit Shift and X again on our keyboard, and I'm going to grab the Rectangle tool, and we're just going to draw a rectangle right here where the bottom of this shape ends. And now I'm going to select both of these, and go over to Pathfinder and click on minus front. And that's going to take off that one section below. And now we're going to switch to our direct selection tool by hitting A on our keyboard. And now I'm going to select both of these anchor points, these little corners right here. And we can go up here to the corners and I'm just going to get this to 1/8 of an inch. And now we can select our shape again and hit Shift X. So here's our cloud right here, made up entirely of those three ellipses. All right, and now we're going to go down here and recreate this rain. And we're going to use our pen tool, so hit P on your keyboard. And we're going to swap the fill and the stroke. And let's click right up here. And we're going to hold down Shift and go all the way down here. So that gives us a nice straight line to work with. I'm going to select the stroke. And we're going to hold down Shift and hit up on our keyboard to bring it up to about 10 points. And I'm going to go over here to our stroke panel and click on Round Cap and Round Join. And that's just going to make sure that everything stays rounded. So now I'm going to go over here to our pen tool, click and hold down, and we're going to click on Add Anchor Point tool. And for this, I'm going to turn my smart guides back on to make sure that I am indeed hitting this path. So I'm going to click right here on this path and right here. So now that we've got those three anchor points added, I'm going to swap to my direct selection tool, and we're going to select over that point that we added, and I'm going to hold down Shift and move this over here. And then with our direct selection tool, I'll select both of these anchor points and increase this to 1/4 inch. Okay, there's a couple of ways that we can duplicate these. You can hold down Option or Alt and Shift and do this and just Command D all the way across. You can do that. However, there's a much simpler and more effective way. What we're going to do is select this first one here. I'm going to hold down Option and Shift and go all the way over here to this side. And I think that I'll just go ahead and make both of these the same height. So now I'm going to select both of these shapes. I'm going to hit Command, Option, and B on my keyboard. If you're on Windows, that's going to be Alt, Control, B. And now let's go over here to our toolbar and double click on the Blend tool. We're going to change spacing to specified steps, and we're going to bring up the number until we hit that exact number, which looks like it's 28 exactly. And if we select the beginning points and the end points and make any changes, then those changes will be reflected in the rest of the shapes. So I'm going to bring this back down to 1/4 inch. And now just temporarily, I'm going to select that entire thing and bring it down to 50% opacity so that I can see this wave pattern here. All right, temporarily, I'm just going to select that and lock it. And now I'm going to grab my pen tool and we'll just kind of create a shape that is the same as this wave pattern. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same, so I'm just going to do something kind of like that. All right, I'm going to grab my direct selection tool and bring this over here. So the next thing we need to do is close out this shape. And I'm going to bring this up here to the top because it doesn't matter what we do up here. So we'll just bring that there. And now we're going to go over here to Object, Unlock All. Now remember, that's going to unlock our original artwork. So I'm going to go in here and lock that back down again. But now we can grab our rain here and bring this back up to 100%. So now I'm going to select the shape that we created and the rain. And I'm going to press Command 7 or Control 7 on Windows. And as you can see here, that's going to contain this rain inside of that shape that we created. All right, and the last thing we're gonna do is go over here and recreate this plane. And I'm just gonna use my pen tool to do this. So let's just click right around here. And this is a little bit more pointed right here than it is a fully rounded shape. So I'm gonna actually include that in the illustration here. Okay, so there's our rough illustration there. And what you can do after you draw your shape is grab your direct selection tool and go in here and just kind of slightly round this, because it's not going to be perfectly pointed. And we'll do the same thing here with a few of these corners. This right here, we could just move this one over and we'll slightly round this and slightly round this right here. And round this one up right here to about right there. The maximum point is totally fine. This right here is a little further back than it needs to be, so let's just kind of bring it forward just a little bit and bring in the roundedness a little bit more. And we've recreated the artwork that is within the poster. And just one more thing to be aware of, you can adjust this mask right here after you've created it. So if you want to refine any of these points right here, you can keep going with this and you can either hide or reveal your artwork with your clipping mask. I hope I taught you something in Illustrator today. If you wouldn't mind, please consider subscribing to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.